polished edition of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly rundown where we talk movies, TV, music, and video games. Not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us on the Media Boat Podcast this week. Today is March the 6th, 2026. This is episode 528. And yeah, we're marching on to spring very soon. Spring forward your clocks if you're in a daylight savings time area this Sunday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that is this
spring is
weekend.
springing. Get used to it. You're going to lose an hour, and you better
Ugh,
like it.
no, thank you.
Well,
Just to always roll back and roll back and roll back. Then eventually we'll have midnight be noon.
yeah, something like that. But the good news is we have a show for you today. So let's get started.
Yes, we're going to start this March edition with the music section. Start the music section with the Billboard. Start the Billboard with the Hot 100. And the hottest song in the land is Choosing Texas by Ella Langley. Adding in at 2, Man, I Need by Olivia Dean. At 3, Ordinary by Alex Warren. Dropping to number 4, Opal Light by Taylor Swift. And round out your top 5 with the album bump, I Just Might by Bruno Mars.
Yep.
Yeah, Ella Langley. Welcome to the number 1 slot.
Yeah, I think that Opalite number one was mostly due to the music video, and so after views probably slid after week one, it went back to normalcy.
Yep. As for your Billboard chart, your album chart, your Billboard 200. At number 1 is Cloud 9 by Megan Maroney. And I'll say it, I'll bet she's on Cloud 9 being number 1. At 2, Debbie Tudor Boss Photos by Bad Bunny. Looks like people still love that album. Coming in at 3, Luck or Something by Hilary Duff. At 4, Kaching No by Baby King. That's with that dollar sign.
Yeah.
And right, your top 5, the problem himself, Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, no surprises there. Although, note about the Megan Maroney record, that is the first time in 2 years a country record has topped the Billboard 200. So it's been a little bit.
I'm just going to assume that Morgan Wallen was the last one.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it's a female country album because
Let's
yeah,
go. Yeah.
that can't be true because yeah, Morgan Wallen had a number one with I'm the Problem, so that's impossible. But yeah, no, it's probably a woman-led country album.
Female country album.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
If you're wondering where that Bruno Mars album is, try next week.
Yeah, next week for that.
But if you don't like any of those albums, we have new releases. Starting with We Are Together Again by
Yay.
Bonnie, Prince Billy. There's also Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally by Harry Styles, your big release of the week.
Yes.
Your surprise release of the week is Atlanta by Gnarls Barkley. Yes, that Gnarls Barkley.
Yes, there was a single release early last week where they teased a full album. The full album is out. This, however, is just a temporary thing. They've said that they will no longer make any more music under the Gnarls Barkley name after this release. So this is it. This is it. This is all they're doing. It was a big surprise, and then boom, that's it. Also, this is notable because, well, CeeLo Green has become more of a controversial figure now since the release of the first Gnarls Barkley record. So, if you're asking yourself why didn't I hear about this why didn't hear this was happening, that's probably why.
Yeah, I was like, CeeLo was big 10 years ago, I want to
Yeah.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hmm And then stuff happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
stuff,
stuff.
things.
Yes, things. Look it up.
Look at it.
And
Yeah.
lastly, Trixies by Squeeze. Uh,
Yes.
but as mentioned, there's going to be a new Harry Styles album. So, Harry is celebrating the release of his new album, Kiss All the Time, Disco occasionally, with
Mhm.
a Netflix concert film. The pop star's first show in nearly 3 years, taking place this Friday. Wait,
Tonight.
as in today, as of
Tonight. Yeah.
this recording,
It
tonight,
actually might be happening right now because
uh,
British time
happened
or already
all
happened.
ready? No.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's being filmed currently
Yeah.
in
Filmed
Manchester,
currently.
England. But it will be available to stream on Sunday, March 8th at 7 p.m. Uh, England, Greenwich Mean Time, which, if you don't want to do the conversions in your head, is 3 p.m. Eastern and 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Because of the daylight savings, it's not 8 hours plus, it's 7 hours plus.
Yes.
The news follows Styles' first ever live performance of the era this past weekend at the Brit Awards, where he showed off his choreography skills to the album's lead single, Aperture,
Yeah.
not Aperture Science.
No, he's not singing
Cake is a lie.
the whatever the Portal song was called.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, sure, why not? It's been a little bit since a big Harry Styles release. Makes sense for him to do a big concert deal with Netflix, and it's cool that it's happening right away in correspondence with the album coming out, and not like a Taylor Swift thing where you have to wait until a full tour has gone by so you can see a streaming concert. Neat idea for people who like Harry, and there's a lot of people who like Harry, so they'll be tuning in on Sunday night, I am sure. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, big album, big splash.
Yeah.
Netflix throwing that money. I hear they have $2 billion to spend now.
Yeah, it's like that feeling when you're like, oh, well, I guess I didn't have to buy that big ticket item. Okay, well, I just have this money now. Yeah, that's probably how they're feeling.
Yeah, they didn't buy a car with it. They said they got a PC.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that.
Um,
Yeah, so they bought a Harry Styles.
Now I did not listen to this yet. I do plan on at least checking it out because it is fascinating what he says is the inspiration for this record. He apparently credits LCD Sound System and Radiohead as influences for the new electronic direction that he's going in. I don't know what that's going to be like, so I guess we'll find out.
I guess we shall. I'm going to take a little different approach here, and I'm going to wait for the concert film. I'll watch it, and then I'll go
Yeah,
to the album.
then you'll see if that's worth checking out. Fair enough.
Yes, because at least I can watch it on 1.5 speed on Netflix
The
instead
songs
of
are
listening
going
to
to
the whole
sound
album.
weird that way, though.
But if they're good, they'll stick at that
They'll
speed.
translate.
Yes.
We'll see.
All right. Did you listen to anything?
No, like I said, no.
No is okay. I listened to nothing as well. So let's go into video games where we start with new releases, starting with Mirage 7 for everything but the Switch.
No.
Bubblegum Galaxy is your wide release out for everything, including the Xbox One and the PS4.
Christy is looking forward to this. She played the demo. It's a grid-based building puzzle game. If that doesn't make any sense, maybe look up a trailer.
We also have our fighting game of the week, Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly
It's not a fighting
remake.
game. It's not a fighting game.
Fatal
No.
Frame is a fighting
You're
game.
thinking of Fatal Fury.
Is that not what this is?
No, it's not. Fatal
Fatal Frame is.
Frame is a series of Japanese survival horror games where you're taking pictures, hence the
No,
frame.
no. Fatal Frame is in like the Fatal Combo, right?
Look it up.
I am looking it up. Fatal Frame. It is horror. I am wrong.
I know what I'm talking about.
Clearly, I do not. But we also have Greedfall, The Dying World for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. And lastly, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando for the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
Yeah, so a bit of a smaller release week compared to last week. Um, March is typically a weird month for releases because it's the end of the fiscal year. So
Mhm.
a lot of things are getting dumped. So we'll see by the end of the month, probably more stuff that just kind of landed in March.
Yep. All right, let's get into video game news where
Yeah,
we've got some weird bits to talk about.
things are happening in the video game industry. The console manufacturers have completely split for the first time in my memory of following this industry, where their basic strategy for video games is completely opposite of each other.
All right, so let's start over with the new head of Microsoft Xbox. Let's go over there,
Mhm.
where Microsoft has confirmed that its next generation of game consoles is codenamed Project Helix. And if that name sounds weird, it's not because a helix makes an X shape.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, they say that it will run both Xbox and PC games. So on Thursday, Microsoft's gaming division shared a short teaser video on social media revealing said logo of
Mhm.
Project Helix. And yeah, they're twined. It's got the X for Xbox, but they're calling it Helix because you got,
Mhm.
I assume, Xbox, PC, and then they merge and cross, and then you can play your games.
Exactly. Yeah. This confirms the very strong rumor, which was more or less confirmed, that this was going to be a PC-based device, and there was going to be some sort of interactivity with PC games, Xbox games being kind of interchangeable. And Xbox, per se, will just kind of become a tier of PC that is powerful enough to be equivalent to the console that they're making. That's what it sounds like they're going toward. So
But my Steam machine.
I mean, that's the question, right? Like, it seems like what they're pitching right now is probably going to be more ambitious and more powerful than what Valve has been talking about with the Steam machine. So while they're similar in concept, Xbox wants Project Helix to be a high-priced luxury good, the way that they're talking about it. This is for people who really care about the Xbox experience, identify with the Xbox brand, and want to get the highest quality experience with Xbox that they can. It
Hold
makes
on, hold on, hold on.
sense.
I've heard this same pitch when they introduced Xbox One as your
Mhm.
one center media console device.
I mean, it's a little different. I would liken it more towards how they marketed Series X, which was very much like it just plays video games, but it's the most expensive and most like high end experience you can get with video games right now. That seems like they're doubling down on that idea, but expanding it to include the PC audience, which is what we figured they were going to do. So this makes sense. Although I just don't imagine that this is going to be very feasible going into a world in which RAM and storage is twice what it used to be. I don't know how they're going to manufacture this cheaply. I don't know how they're going to sell it to people under $1,000. That's the real question here is they're stepping into dangerous, uncharted territory here. We thought it was funny when Sony was like, here, pay $700 for the PlayStation or $600 for the PlayStation 3. See, I even got that number wrong because I couldn't remember that cheap. But now, like, they're really gonna have to consider, like, is there someone out there that will buy $1,000 Xbox? We'll find out.
Yeah, we know it. That is Davis Chris.
Hey, I'm not speaking for anybody here. I don't know. Anyways.
Anyways, not to be outdone, PlayStation is also in the news. as
Yes.
Sony's strategy of releasing its single player PlayStation 5 games on PC will soon be stopping, according to a new report. That report, coming from Bloomberg, cites people familiar with Sony's plans, saying the company is pulling back from its plan to release its upcoming games on PC, with future single player games set to become PS5 exclusives. And, initially making the reason you bought a PS5 to play PS5 games,
Yeah.
means something again.
Yes and no, though, right? Because it looks like they're kind of hedging their bets. Note, single player.
Hmm.
That implies that any multiplayer based games or anything with like a co-op element, anything that's not just one of their classic God of War style narrative single player experiences are still going to have PC ports, which makes sense because you want those to have a wider player base when player base numbers matter. They don't matter for single player games, just sales really at that point. Um,
Right, but the modding community will be
yeah,
upset about the
yeah,
loss of single
I
player
mean,
games.
let's be real. Yes, I do think people will be upset. I think you're right because, and it's not necessarily just because it's not on PC, but also because this is kind of a reversal of strategy. Because
Hmm.
for so long they had established this precedent that like, oh, Death Stranding 2 is gonna have a PC port. Just wait for it. Now suddenly we're in the world we used to be in before, where it's like, oh, actually, no. There's no confidence in which we'll ever get a Death Stranding game on PC again,
Hmm.
or a Horizon uh main Horizon game on PC again, which is a weird place to be, seeing as we get so used to that being the case. And so, yeah, my question is, and maybe you can lend me your theory here. Do you think this is because, do you think this is because they have watched Microsoft's strategy go so off the rails in the PC direction to where there isn't an Xbox exclusive game anymore? That they were like, they saw this as a cautionary tale. And we're like, we need to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace and basically say we are not at all close to what Microsoft is doing. We are the classic video game console. Or do you think this is them looking at numbers and being like, actually, when we did put these single player games on PC, it didn't actually do a whole lot better? I don't, I have my doubts about the latter. I'm more on the former because I can't imagine that Death Stranding 1, for example, didn't sell well on PC, or Spider-Man 2, or, these other games that they did these PC releases for. I would be shocked if they looked at those numbers and were disappointed in them. So I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is the developers saying that if
Hmm.
you want a better timeline for your games, for PlayStation games, make us do one, not both. Make us develop for the PlayStation, not PlayStation and
You
PC.
know, if we were talking about PlayStation 3, maybe I would be on your side. But PlayStation 4 and 5 games are very close to PC architecture. They're all based on x86. The argument would be that it's not that hard to do a PC port of a PlayStation 5 game because the architectures are so similar. And
Right,
that
that's why
may be
they stopped doing
why.
day and date releases.
Well, that's the some of part of the excuse why Sony decided to do so many PC ports because suddenly it was not a big hassle for developers to do that. Of course, notably, this comes on the heels of them shutting down Bluepoint, as we talked about last week,
Yep.
which was doing a lot of that port work. And so maybe these things are related. I don't know. I'm not sure. Of course, there's also the question of, is Sony really that concerned about PlayStation 5 sales? Maybe that's what they're thinking of. It's like, oh, well, we were going to force more people into our console ecosystem if these games are only on PlayStation. But the
I mean, that's
PlayStation
part of the
5 has
reason
sold
is
really
that
well.
to have a PlayStation 5 exclusive means you have to play this on a PlayStation. And if you don't have a PlayStation, you can play it on a
Yeah.
PC. Part of the strategy is, okay, well, I'll play it, but I'll play it later when it is available on PC. So let's
So
pull
yeah,
that
maybe they are
back.
thinking about people that are, yeah, that maybe tightening up that audience and making sure that audience isn't just sitting on their money when these games come out. That could be part of it. Also, this could be a preview towards them prepping for a PlayStation 6 cycle,
That's
even
what I
though
was
we
just about to
know,
say.
even though we know that they've just said that that's going to be longer of a wait than we thought initially, because of these component prices. So yeah, it's
Right.
definitely going to be another. It feels like we're looking at another game of chicken between Microsoft and Sony to see when these consoles are talked about, when these consoles are revealed. And I honestly don't know when that's going to all happen, but we're seeing the strategies form. We're seeing them put their flags in very, very different mountains. And that's fascinating. Again, as someone who's been watching this industry for 30 years now, it's really interesting now to see them differentiate themselves in this way.
I mean, I think this is because of the PlayStation 6 that they need to reassure their own customer base that when we do launch the next console, because they're starting to heat up, Project Helix was announced, that
Mm.
we will still have exclusives. Exclusives are still part of our DNA. They're not going to go away. We're just making sure that you know, as a customer, that we're not completely abandoning exclusives. We're just going to be very more select on what we put on PC. Multiplayer games, yeah, play. We want to be able to play with everyone, anywhere. But single player games, you want to enjoy that, have that enjoyable experience on a PlayStation. That's what
Yeah.
they're counting on. That's what's going to get them coming back. That's what gets people like us invested in the studios that pump out these games.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Again, I think Xbox would argue with you that that's not as important as it used to be, but PlayStation now seems like they're gambling on it still being that way, at least in some way. So we'll see who's right.
I mean, we will see who's right, but what isn't right is taking those studios that you champion that you want to see and shutting them down.
Yeah.
Yes, because the troubled free to play shooter, High Guard, is officially shutting down just a little over 6 weeks after its high profile launch. Developer Wildlight Entertainment has confirmed. So, High Guard launched on January 26th, following its bold announcement at the Game Awards in December. But despite initially reaching 1 million players, according to its developer, player numbers quickly plummeted, and Wildlight laid off most of its development team in the following month, thus
Man,
leading to the closure.
this is wild. Like
No,
Wild
this
Light
is
is right,
Wildlight.
right? Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, yes, you can think about Concord as kind of a precedent for this, but Concord's slightly different, right? Because it was a console game. It was not free to play. It had a lot more baggage coming into it. This was a game that Jeff Keighley was like, this is my final reveal, guys. This is important. Only to literally 6 weeks later be wiped off the face of the earth. That is wild.
Right.
Like, we've never seen anything like this before. And yeah, it is kind of the last couple of years in the gaming industry in a microcosm, right? It's like it just didn't hit the numbers that the money people wanted to see, which, by the way, this is a Tencent joint. Tencent is largely the funder of this game. And so, yeah, of course, they're sensitive to not being the next big thing. And if it's not the next big thing, they're going to shut it all down. It just sucks to have worked on this and put like genuine like blood, sweat, and tears in this project and then on that high of release and reveal at the Game Awards and having, the internet behind you for that split second only to come tumbling down right afterwards. It's got to be the worst roller coaster ever. Like for these poor devs. So it sucks. This is bad. It's bad whenever it happens, but this one feels especially egregious just because of the speed of it all. Yeah, it's just disappointing, but unfortunately, that's just the way these money things work when you have investors that are very sensitive to this kind of thing. So this is actually kind of dovetails well with the story that I didn't include this week because there's nothing confirmed yet. But it does seem like that if the US government gets its way, that Tencent's investment in a lot of US industry might be going away soon. And that will potentially affect Tencent's gaming investments, which are dozens. Like, just look it up. There are so many different companies that Tencent is secretly or not so secretly invested in, including Nintendo, of all companies. They have money everywhere. And so it'll be interesting to see the companies, especially for the studios that they outright own, what will happen to their video game investments. So keep an eye out.
See, that's not the story I thought you were going with.
Oh,
No. I thought you were going to dovetail into Nintendo
oh,
suing the American government.
that dropped today. That came in a little too hot. And so I didn't include it. But yes, that's all I know about that story is that they have said that they plan on suing the US government regarding tariffs.
Yep, because tariffs were deemed illegal. So
Right.
Nintendo
And
is suing
yeah,
because of the price fluctuation for the Switch 2 that they had to
right.
do.
So yeah, it makes sense. They probably incurred, going to argue that they have incurred losses due to the price sensitivity, and we'll see if they succeed on that one. But yeah, if there's more to that story by next week, I don't know. Maybe you can cover more, but for now, that's all we really know.
Right. Okay. Anything else in video game news then? We covered a lot there.
No, I guess a side note is that Pokemon Pokopia has come out to incredibly great reviews.
Hmm.
It is now the best reviewed Pokemon game on Metacritic, and that's including all of the mainline Pokemon games. Think about that for a second. So maybe a reason to get a Switch too, if that sounds interesting to you.
They are currently available before a price
Yes.
increase.
Yes, get them now is what I would say. Like I know I don't usually tell people to buy things right away, but in this case, maybe this is the time to go into your Best Buy and grab a Switch 2 before the prices go higher.
All right. Did you play Pokopia?
No, instead, I watched Christy play a little bit of the Switch port of Pokemon Leaf Green. She's never played Gen 1 before, so it's been fun to watch her
Hmm.
play the original Pokemon.
Well, okay,
I
not original.
Well, it's the remake of the original Pokemon.
Yes, this
I
is
just
Leaf
mean
Green.
with the original 150.
Yes.
Uh, so it's been really cool to see her experience all that. I didn't tell her, for example, that Brock and Misty are gym leaders. She's seen Brock so far and gotten the first badge, but now she's in Mount Moon dealing with all the Zubat. And I've been telling her this is a rite of passage. You have to get sick of the Zubat. This is just what you have to do in order to get to the other side of this mountain and move on to Cerulean.
I mean, you don't
Get
have to.
ready.
It makes you want to use repels,
I
and then
mean,
you
I
don't
don't know if
get
she
that
bought any.
EXP.
Yeah, I don't know if she bought any yet. But her Bulbasaur is already an Ivysaur. She's doing well, so.
Yes. All right. Well, I played a game as I said I was going to. I downloaded
All
it. I
right.
played it. I feel sorry for anyone who actually likes this game. Marathon.
So I take it that you also are not a fan of the extraction shooter.
Not just that it being an extraction shooter. I mean, the fact that there is no solo player on it is a
No.
bit disheartening. The
Yes.
fact that it seems like it drops you in and everything is huge and giant makes me feel small, running around like I'm in a microcosm of a world, of a map.
Like a Lego guy.
Kind of, yeah, because it's like, oh, truck. No, big
Yeah.
truck. Oh, battery. Big battery. Oh, cables. Big cables. I'm hopping on top of a cable, make me feel like an ant when it's just like an electrical cable running through everything. And then the strange, weird neon colors everywhere makes me think, okay, this is important. No, it's just the way it's colored. Nope,
Yeah.
nope. The video games have tricked me, or Marathon has tricked me into thinking thing is important when it's not. It's just part of the blocking, it's just part of their color scheme. But what is their color scheme? Bright neons of anything and everywhere?
It's got a style to it, I have to admit. It looks really cool.
Looks can only go so far though. And the looting system, oh my God, what is important for me to pick up? And I can only pick up so much because you limit my backpack. It's not just pick up everything. It's okay, what is
Yeah.
important now? And then if it's not important, if I'm able to leave with it, then I can keep it. But if I die, oh
Mhm.
no, I just wasted 10 minutes or
Yeah,
15 minutes, however long the match is.
I've heard a very similar argument about arc raiders. So I think that this is just a staple of the extraction shooter genre,
Yes.
is that they want you to just figure it out over
Mhm.
time, and so they let you basically pick up whatever junk you want.
Right. But there's so many menus in it that, and so much stuff that I'm like, okay, is this actually important for me to know right now? Or are you
Mhm,
just
mhm.
saying this to me? Because eventually I might be important, or eventually you might be interested in this, rather than this is what you need to know. This is what you need to succeed. Is it weird to say that I want a lighter version of this, a tutorial version? Or
I mean, there's always a possibility if this does catch on that they might include a mode like that for people who are a little overwhelmed by that kind of experience. But also, to a certain extent, like I said, they're trying to be this genre shooter, and this genre shooter, that is part of the design. It is a hardcore genre. It is like you want to be fully invested in this world. You're absorbing everything around you and feel like you're immersed in the experience. I think that's
okay.
part of being
But how can I
immersed.
be immersed in experience if you want me to read everything? This is not a novel. This is not Akatar.
No, it's not. Good reference there.
Well, yes, we got a new
Um,
book dropping in October.
wow. Are you being paid by what's her name?
To hawk this? No. I am actually paying someone to ship me the entire series to catch up.
Wow, there you go. Um, anyway, yeah, no, I mean
Anyways.
that is interesting though to me because that's actually like very much a marathon thing and not an extraction shooter thing. Are you
Mhm.
familiar at all with the original marathon games?
No, I know that it's like a 90s PC game
Yeah.
originally.
Mac actually, back before Bungie was a Microsoft thing, Bungie made the marathon games shooters for the Mac platform. My dad was a Mac user in that era and was a big fan of Marathon. Fun fact, not him. But yeah, those games were known for their focus on narrative, and they also had a lot of lore to read. And so that this is following in the footsteps of that. And arguably that and the style of the game are really the only things that are continuing from that original Marathon franchise. The extraction shooter stuff is brand new. Okay, well, I mean, that's more or less how I figured that your experience would
Mhm.
go. Is like this is not a genre that you're super like fond of, and so it does seem like a game that feels very antagonistic toward the player is not necessarily your idea of a good time, or is it mine?
It's fine. Like when I played with the random people, it felt fine just running around.
Mhm.
The AI robots there, perfectly fine. I
Yeah,
think I was supposed to run into other teams. I did not.
maybe.
I had not. Uh, I was reading some other or watching some other like reviews on it that your goals and objectives are supposed to like cross at some point. Never happened to me. I was always like on a one track mind of like, okay, here's what, give me the pings, give me the goals. And like they never like once be like, okay, look, this person's going up here for some random reason instead of staying with the team. Never happened. I mean, I played about 6, 7 matches, but I just got like, okay, this is a shooter. I feel small. It's kind of bright. I don't know what's up with all the bugs and the moths in between all the cutscenes. And yeah, there's no like main point of contact here to like guide me through everything. So it
Yeah.
is very much if you want that like open kind of openness experience of run around, do your own thing, figure it out. Like, sure, marathon could be for you. It is only $40. It is online only. You need to play with other people. So if that sounds appealing to you, good luck.
Yeah.
Mileage may vary.
I do think that it will find an audience of some sort. I do not think that it is going to be here
Oh, I'm
for a
not saying
short
it's going to be
time.
DOA,
Yeah, I don't think it's Concord. I don't think it's um,
high guard.
High Guard. I had to think of the name of it already. But I do think that, yeah, it is going to be a specific kind of game for a specific kind of person, but you probably already know if that's you. which is the good
Hmm.
news here. And so if you know you'll probably like this. If you were a big into arc raiders, for example, you probably will have a good time with Marathon.
Good.
All right.
All right. Did you play anything else
It's
then?
more Warframe.
Yeah, yes. You and your Warframe. All right. Well then, let's continue on into television, where we
Yes.
always start with the Sports Corner.
Hmm.
All right. Going over into football just real quickly because last week was the scouting combine.
Yep.
We now have the fastest man in the draft. Mississippi State wide receiver Brennan Thompson posted a 4.26 40-yard dash, the third fastest ever ran, because apparently no one can top the speedster of 4.1 that was Mr. Xavier from last year.
I see.
Let's see here. Over in the NBA, we had some breaking records as LeBron has hit yet another major milestone. He has passed, yet again, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, yet again, for the most made shots in NBA history, yet again. Those yet again are not for the same milestone. It's
Sure.
just a different stat that King LeBron James is now on top of.
Yep. Sure.
Not like Kareem's out there passing passing him, and then LeBron goes, and the Kareem goes. No, they don't ping
Wouldn't
pong
that be
back and
great if
forth.
he was, though? He was still out there doing it.
At one point in time, I'm sure that was the case.
Now, LeBron hasn't played that long. He's old. He's not that old.
Yes.
Anyway.
Anyways, the NBA will continue on
Mhm.
as we get closer to the playoffs.
Yes.
The NHL is currently underway. The trade deadline for the NHL was today. Check to see if your favorite player is still on your team or if you have to burn the jersey that you bought and they're on a different team. This also gives us a better look as to which teams think they're in a playoff contention mode and we're in a buying spree, and which teams are in a rebuilding mode and sold a lot of their pieces for draft picks and other players. All right. And let's go into, well, we're in March. As such, we have
Hmm.
spring training. But not
Yes.
just spring training, the World Baseball Classic is going
Yes.
on.
It's
And
double baseball right now.
yep, and we saw Otani do Otani things. Has he hit a grand slam?
Basically, the headline of this story should be Otani does Otani things and literally breaks the World Baseball Classic.
Well, yes, he hit a grand slam in the second inning, and eventually they had to is the team playing for Japan had to mercy rule the Thailand team, uh, which for those who are unaware, the game can be called after 5 innings if a team is leading by 15 runs or more,
Yeah.
or after 7 innings if they're leading by 10 or more.
Yes. This is a Baseball Classic rule. This is not a Major League Baseball rule, as
It
you all
needs
will
to be a
know.
Major League Baseball rule.
According to a lot of people, yes, as I've noticed that be a strong contingent, especially from people who don't like baseball that much. They're like, this just let them mercy rule this, just let this game in.
Right. I mean, I'd like to see the stat of how many teams have come back from 15 down 15 runs, down
Very
10
few,
runs.
but I've seen it happen, so
I
it
know
can
that's the
happen.
proponent that's always saying, but
Yeah,
then you missed this
yeah,
happening.
and it's always cool when it does happen. So there's that.
I mean, cool for one team, terrible for the others.
Similar, something very close to that actually happened in spring training yesterday with the A's and the Angels. The Angels almost caught back up, but not quite.
I saw the Dodgers and Reds get into like a 10-12
Yeah,
baseball
similar,
match too.
similar slugfest going on there.
Yep.
But yeah, spring training's been spring training. I think the biggest conversation is all about the ABS system, the automatic balls and strikes robot.
Hmm.
That will likely not 100% official, but come on, it'll happen. Be introduced in the regular season this year. This is the final kind of test that they're doing to make sure that it's ready. Some people love it, some people hate it. Of course, it's always a new rule is always going to be divisive, and that seems to be the focus of the spring training experience right now. But yeah, then the World Baseball Classic is there in case you want a different kind of baseball experience. It seems like it's already been very, very cool, including the Otani moment that we've mentioned. But yeah, the both will continue on. If you're wondering how to watch the WBC, unfortunately, it's all on Fox. So if you were one of the suckers that got Fox One, you're good. If you didn't get Fox One, you'll be scrambling for cable or antennas uh, to figure it out. So that's why I've not watched any World Baseball Classic because I've recently had to put all my money in the ESPN ecosystem to get MLB TV again. So not actually not my money. It was Christie's birthday present to me. But yeah,
Ah, so you
yes.
figured out how to get Angels TV, Angels.TV.
Not quite yet, because Angels TV, believe it or not, still doesn't really exist. They still haven't pulled the trigger. To this day, there has been no way to watch television broadcasts of Angels spring training games that are home at Tempe Diablo. There's still no way. They still haven't launched the station to do it. So as of right now, you can only watch Angels spring training games if they're away at a broadcast for the other team. Like for example, I watched today's game because they were broadcast by the Cleveland organization. So
Mhm.
the Guardians broadcast had it, and that was available via MLB TV. But they were presumably going to launch this before opening day. They only have a few weeks now, so I'm hoping they get it figured out. What I did was I prepped for that moment, which is I got so just as a PSA for people who are trying to get MLB TV again this year, because of the ESPN buyout, you have to have ESPN Ultimate to even purchase MLB TV.
Hmm.
They force you, they funnel you into it. And you get basically, so even if you go and try to buy MLB TV first, they'll be like, held up. You need to be an ESPN subscriber. But don't worry, the first month is free. So yeah, they'll force you into it no matter what. So that means you need to have a My Disney account, which you might already have if you have a Disney Plus or a Hulu account.
Hmm.
And that will be, you could also bundle it. So what we're doing right now is we got the bundle. So $45 a month gets us Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN
Yeah, it
Ultimate.
does. That's what I'm doing.
Then ESPN Ultimate subscribers get a slight discount on the season of MLB TV. I say slight because it basically goes from 150 to 140. So or 136, I think, something like that, like 135.99. So we got that. That gives us uh MLB TV. But another note about that, this does not funnel into your old MLB app that you used to watch MLB TV on. No, it's an ESPN app. So you have to go through ESPN apps to go to the games, which has completely thrown me off. And I don't know if that's how the team stuff will work as well. Because again, I haven't been able to purchase Angels TV yet through MLB TV.
Right. It
So,
looks like as of this morning, the deal for Angels.TV was completed
okay.
through a purchase of a portion of Main Street.
So we'll
The
see
Yeah,
soon, hopefully, then make an actual official announcement that this is going to be a thing.
yeah. Well, this is from Jeff Fletcher of the OC Register.
Okay, so yeah, he would know. Okay, so just a
I'm
matter of
sure he's
time
still
then.
trying to get it up and working.
Yeah, right. So yeah, right now, just so yeah, and I imagine this is the case for a lot of places that are waiting for their team to finally launch their shit. So just keep this in mind going into the that not everybody is set yet, even though spring training games have started.
Yeah, the end of the Sports Illustrated article here says that unfortunately you won't see spring training games,
Yeah.
but they will be available for the regular season broadcast.
Also, radio. You can still listen to them on the local Angels radio station if you have it.
Yep.
All right.
And that just
Cool.
doesn't go for just Angels for anyone listening.
Right.
That's also
Yeah.
with the Padres, the Rangers, the
Yes. All
Braves,
of the
anyone else who had the
MLB
beginning of poll.
produced. Yeah. Well, MLB produced broadcasts will be all like that.
Yep.
Oh, last bit. I wanted to say something I've noticed that's kind of cool about the spring training broadcast. And if the ABS, if slash when the ABS goes into the regular season, this will probably also carry over. Is that there's now a visual representation on the score box on broadcasts of how many challenges they have left for the ABS. That's
Mhm.
important. So it almost looked like a football
Yeah,
presentation
it
because it
does.
looks like your challenges or your timeouts display, but for baseball now. So it's kind of neat. I was like, oh, cool, we got that too.
Yep. You know how many challenges you got, how many they
Mhm.
still are out. Yeah, how many challenges you have left
Yeah,
before you mess up.
exactly. That's
Because you just
baseball.
keep getting them right. Just keep getting them right. Just keep calling heads. Just keep calling heads.
So yeah, when I return, not this week, but next week, I'll be able to report how the spring training experience is from the field. I'll be attending two different spring training games, so I'll have
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff to talk about for that.
All right. But before we get to that, because we're still in March, anytime you get back, Sunday, March 15th is Selection Sunday for the NCAA men's basketball and women's basketball tournaments. So far, the top teams in the men's section are number one, Duke with the Blue Devils. At two, those Arizona Wildcats. At three, your Michigan Wolverines. Coming in at four, your Yukon Huskies. And round out your top five, Florida Gators. Well, only four of those teams get the number one seed. Which four we'll know in just 2 weeks here.
I guess so.
Actually, 1 week, I guess. 15th.
Oh, come on.
Well, we won't know next time we record, but we'll know the following because games will have started and someone's brackets will have been busted by then.
Oh, I bet.
All right. Well, let's get into some TV news.
Why don't we? And this week, we're going to talk about everybody's favorite comic book feline. Yes, Heathcliff. We all love Heathcliff. Heathcliff's what? No, obviously, I'm not going to talk about Heathcliff. I'm going to talk about Garfield. Paramount Plus has
But
picked up a
not
new
that Garfield.
original. No, not the president either. No, the orange tabby cat named Garfield. Paramount Plus has picked up a new original 2D animated series from Nickelodeon Animation Studios featuring the iconic lasagna loving orange cat, Garfield. Voicing Garfield is Emmy-winning actor slash comedian Lamorne Morris, who has been seen in New Girl and Fargo. It brings the nearly 6-year creative process on the show to an end. It is the first Garfield animated series since 2009's The Garfield Show, which ran for 5 seasons on Cartoon Network slash Boomerang in the US. Frank Welker voiced Garfield for that iteration of the show. This, by the way, is separate from Sony's 3D CGI Garfield film series, which the first one came back in 2024 with plans of an upcoming sequel.
Yep, that's the Chris Pratt version. So
Yes.
at some point in the near future, we will have two different Garfields voiced by two different people in two different animation styles by
Yeah.
two different companies.
Hey, this used to happen a lot more in the 80s and 90s. So it's cool that this
We're
kind of
back.
approach is coming back. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, Garfield. He's still around. Some people still care about him. I feel like he's lost a little bit of cultural traction in the last 10 years, but some people still love Garfield. He's just as much as he loves lasagna.
And hates Mondays.
Yes, and he hates Mondays.
Yes. But yeah, interesting to see it come back. Weird that it's coming back now. Like I said, with
Mm.
that movie that just came out not too long ago.
This strikes me as let's use this IP while we've got it.
It strikes me as we need to use the IP or we lose the
Mhm.
IP.
It's probably one of those things where it's like every few years we have to remind everybody about Garfield.
We have to put at least something in the books on the can, otherwise we lose the license.
Yeah,
Similar to how there's no Star Trek currently on TV, but
right.
that's not going to stop them from making something new
Hey, it'll happen.
next year.
It'll come back.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyways,
television. You
yeah.
watch some television. I watch some television. We both watch television.
I don't think we watched the same television though.
No, we didn't. You watched very different television than I did.
All right. We'll start with the returning show,
Sure.
Agents of Mystery. This is
Ooh.
the South Korean show, which is basically one huge escape room. This is season two. Season one was already on Netflix. Watch it as part of the South Korean live TV boom that happened a couple of years ago. This is the sequel to it. It's more escape rooms. It's more these selected characters getting into very wacky and outrageous events. And yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it plays like an escape room. You're with it, you're watching it, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I bet I can solve this puzzle before they do. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And then there's one challenge where they go at it for hours and hours and hours because no one's got rhythm in their bones. And it's funny to watch until it gets sad, until it gets funny again. Because they have to remove one of the blockades because it's apparently too hard for them. But
Oh
yeah,
no.
it's an easy watch. It's a fun show. If you like escape rooms, give Agents of Mystery a shot.
Okay. All right. I don't really care for escape rooms, but I'm sure plenty of people do.
Yep, right here. That's why I
Yeah,
watched it.
there you go. There you
All right. And then I watched the show I'm probably not gonna watch again on HBO Max.
go.
Well, I
Okay.
think it's HBO regular, but I watched it on Max. Uh, DTF St. Louis. This show, I think, is supposed to be a comedy.
You're not sure.
No, because it's also a murder mystery, which I'll talk about a different murder mystery a bit later.
Mhm.
Uh, because this stars David Harbour randomly, of all people, with Jason Bateman randomly, of all people,
Sure.
in a middle of a love triangle slash dating app fiasco where one of them dies. And so it's kind of building a mystery of like, okay, but how did he die? And I don't know like how realistic-ish a portrayal this is supposed to be because I don't know how often you talk with your best friend about downloading an app to meet local singles in your area, hence the DTF portion of the game.
Yeah.
Just casually just dropping it in the middle of a family barbecue that, hey, I found this app. I signed up for it. You should sign up for it with me. We're not going to DTF each other. No, no, we'll DTF other people. Don't worry about that. But that's part of like the comedy bit is like, oh, like, are you hitting on
Sure.
me? He's like, no, no, I'm telling you, like, we can do this with other people, not each other. It's those little like awkward like comedy moments that make this supposed to be funny, but it's also a bit more dramatic in that sense. Uh, don't know if I like slash appreciate the subject material, but because it's more of like a mystery of how one of these characters died, it kind of leads to more like, okay, maybe that's a good hook, but also not enough to make me be like, okay, I'm sucked in, I'm invested. Doesn't do that for me.
Hmm.
So I put this as a little bit of a miss than a hit,
Yeah, no, that concept does not sound very interesting.
even though there's a murder mystery attached to it.
No, that's just confusing, if anything.
Exactly. Pick a
It's
lane.
like pick a tone, I bet. Like it's
Yep,
probably all over the map.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, but you watch something.
Yeah, I dipped my toe into the OG of original of the OG of reality shows because it's enjoying a little bit of a moment, an anniversary moment, and I decided that this was my time to check it out after 25 years on the air. I think part of it was that Christy and I have been watching The Traders, of course, and a lot of competitors
Hmm.
on The Traders are from Survivor. And we finally just gave into our curiosity, figuring that there's no better time than now. And we tuned in for Survivor 50, the 50th season of Survivor that is currently happening right now on CBS and has brought back in kind of an all-star style a bunch of previous competitors on the show. Um, the idea being across the entire 25 years of the show. So all 50 seasons, most seasons are represented by either one or two competitors. They've got someone who competed in season one, all the way up to the person who won the last season of Survivor.
Hmm.
So yeah, we went in completely blind. We have had like an idea roughly about what Survivor is slash was slash could be. But I did not anticipate just how much lore and how many proper nouns are in this thing and how much has changed and how much has not changed over the course of 25 years of reality television. So it did feel like jumping into the deep end of the pool, like immediately, where they do a little bit of recap and give you kind of a little bit of an idea about what this is. But really, it's not beginner friendly. It is basically assuming that you know roughly who these people are, what their relationships are, why they hate so and so, why they love so and so, what happened to them in previous seasons, what,
Well, yeah, because this
yeah,
basically amounts to an all-star season.
yeah, we basically did. But at the same time, though, this crash course is actually kind of fun because it's like trial by fire in a way. We're kind of having to learn all this stuff just like while it's happening and very quickly
Hmm.
kind of absorb. And so it does feel like when you're playing like say a Final Fantasy game that like without having played any Final Fantasy games before and you're jumping into a modern one, you're just like, Firaga, what's that? It's like kind of like that. You're like, oh, a journey. What's the journeys? Oh, it turns out they've only had journeys for the last 10 years of the show, or like 5 years of the show, only the 40s seasons. This is new. Oh, these it used to be the tribal council is this. And it's basically like I even told Christy, I looked over at one point, I was like, I need a guidebook. I need someone just to type out all the proper nouns in Survivor and be like, idol. This is what an idol is. Tribal council. This is what this is. The Great Merge. This is what that means. Like Exile Island. What's the significance of this? Like immunity challenge versus resources challenge. It's just like all learning all this stuff on the fly has been fun. But mostly the most fun part has been just how funny it is and just how the tone is so ridiculous. I think the marketing around Survivor wants you to believe it's this tough thing about like people who are strong and trying to prove themselves by surviving in the wilderness, like on this tropical island. When really what it is let's put all these goofballs into the same island and see how they try to they either basically become besties or they immediately hate each other's guts.
Yep, it's how Jam Jam won.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that seems to be the case. So yeah, it's been interesting to see the dynamics of people. They're immediately trying to find alliances. How the challenges are like make the challenges on the traders look like Mario Party, like where these are so elaborate. There's multi-step challenges every single time they do this. Like you have to do this thing and move this thing through this, and then get a key, and then that key unlocks this torch, and then this torch will light this element up, and it's just so complicated that you kind of just glaze over and just watch them do feats of strength because you've totally forgotten what the challenge was supposed to be. So it's been fun. We're gonna continue watching. We're not invested in a particular player quite yet, or team quite yet. So we're just kind of letting it wash all over us. But yeah, I think Christy is especially hooked. I think she's already like, yeah, I'm fully into whatever Survivor is selling. So we'll see how it goes.
Uh, you got 50 seasons to catch up on.
Yeah, she made that joke. She was like, "Well, we can catch up now." I'm like, there is no way we're watching 49 seasons of Survivor. I'm sorry, we don't have time for that.
All right, Survivor catch up, Grey's Anatomy catch up.
Ugh, both are bad ideas, as we've been over last week. Anyway,
All right.
that's what we watch,
All right, sounds great. I mean, if you like Survivor, it sounds great. Otherwise, sounds exhausting trying to keep up with everything.
right? Any other television we should talk about before we move on?
Um, no.
Okay, let's move on to cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
First, before we get into the no longer watching, we've got some renewals to talk about. Animal Control on Fox has been renewed for a fifth season, keeping Joel McHale in with a paycheck. Best Medicine gets a second season on Fox. Destination X gets a second season on NBC. Little House on the Prairie, the reboot, gets a second season on Netflix. Is that in advance of its first season? Because I
That
haven't
is
seen
correct.
this
Yes.
come out yet. Okay.
Yep.
And of course, everyone's favorite, The Pit, gets a third season on HBO. Meanwhile, on ABC, they've renewed Abbott Elementary for a sixth season, 911 for a 10th season, 911 Nashville for a second season, and High Potential for a third season. Still outdoing your expectations for where how long High Potential would last.
I like High Potential.
Yeah, but I remember you were like, I don't know if it's going to get a second season.
Yeah, well, apparently, I don't know if they're going to get a third season because the showrunner left. So they need to
Hmm.
find a new showrunner for a third season.
Well, we'll find out if they do that. Next up, The Night Agent on Netflix will get a fourth season. And Miss Scarlet, formerly Miss Scarlet and the Duke, gets a seventh season, which will be its final season on PBS/Masterpiece. Then we also have Palm Royale on Apple TV, canceled after second season. So sorry, Kristen Wiig. And The Bear, yes, finally will end after its upcoming fifth season. FX has said that will be it. And I think that's the smart decision. I think you can only do so much with that premise. And it makes sense to end it at some point. And five seems like a good round number.
Especially where they left off number four.
Yes.
Especially, yeah, with
Yeah.
that transfer of power.
Yes. It doesn't leave much left to just for these characters to go through. I
Hmm.
think. I think you're right. I think that this one more season feels right for
This
where
is
they
the
where we're at.
sink and swim season. Will they
Yeah.
succeed? Will they
Yeah.
fail? Is this bad for any business as it says? I
Right.
have a thought of what I want it to be and how I think it should end, but
That means
probably
it
won't
probably
happen that
won't
way.
do that
You
because
probably
if
won't do that.
anything we've learned about the bear is that they refuse to do the thing you think they're going to do, and two, anything conventional. Like they
Yep.
don't want to be a conventional show. They will try to pull the rug out from under you any chance they have. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. I'll just wait for the
Um,
sequel, The
yeah.
Cubs. Wait.
Wait, wait a minute. Cubs win. Cubs win. Next up, we have one death to talk about real briefly here. Lou Holtz, age 89, Hall of Fame college football coach, famous for being the Notre Dame coach, and of course, sportscaster after that. So
Yep.
a big loss for the
Long
Notre Dame
time
community.
Notre Dame head football coach,
Yes,
Lou
indeed.
Holtz.
All right. That'll do it for television. That means we can move into our last segment of the show, which is movies. And we start the movie section, as always, with the weekend box office numbers. And man, I don't know how you lost this one. Like, this was an easy pot shot. It was really only because I was able to get the over before you. Because,
Not even that, because we completely undershot the number two.
yeah, we did. I think we underestimated just how popular Scream is, regardless of the
Yes.
controversy around Scream 7. Because, yes, not as many people are as online as we are. But hey, that's why you listen to this show. So you don't have to be as online as we are. That's how we should probably be marketing this is like we pay attention so you don't have to, so you can live a normal life. Because yes, Scream 7 was your number one movie this weekend to the tune of a whopping $63 million. Congratulations. Question.
Yeah.
Number two, Goat still hanging in here with $12 million this week. That's 73 domestic. That's been a pretty good hit, I guess. Number three, Wuthering Heights, with a $6.7 million week. That's at 72, just under Goat. Number four, 21 Pilots, More Than We Ever Imagined. The 21 Pilots concert film debuted to $4.3 million this week. And rounding out your top five, another concert film, Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert. That's the Baz Luhrmann cobbled together footage of Elvis. Um, that premiered to $3.5 million. That's at 7.8 domestic right now. And in case you're wondering about those horse girls, well, they're way down at number 13. Uma Musume Pretty Derby, Beginning of a New Era, only made $900,000.
Bum, bum,
Wah,
bum.
wah, wah. So yes, point goes to me. But we have to talk about the upcoming weekend. But I feel like this is going to be looking at this, actually, I don't know. This could go either way. This is a coin flip week, unfortunately, where we have to choose between The Bride, the Maggie Gyllenhaal
Bride
horror,
of Frankenstein.
yeah, Bride of Frankenstein thing, or Disney Pixar's Hoppers. So, horror or family?
Oh, family. Is this even a question? Well, yes,
Yeah.
The Bride may be coming off the hype of both Frankenstein, although that's Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and the less known about Dracula that just came out not too long ago.
Okay.
The Bride is uh has star power behind it. Like you said,
Yeah.
Christian Bale is in this as Frankenstein's monster. Future Academy Award winning Jessie Buckley is the bride in
Yep.
this.
Yeah.
Annette Bening's in it. Penelope Cruz is in this. Like I said, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal is also in this.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, because why not? Throwing some
Yeah.
fillers there.
It's interesting, but can it beat Pixar? Especially a Pixar movie that's getting a big marketing push. I think they realized the weakness of Elio and like are really trying to kick this into high gear.
Yeah.
There's so
They're
many
trying to not to blame
tie-ins.
the marketing, the lack of marketing
Yeah,
on this.
I really think that that's what their thought process was this time because it's inescapable.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, but if we're going with hoppers, we need a number.
I think we're
Do you
both going with
think?
hoppers, right?
Yeah, I think so. Does it meet Scream? Does it outdo Scream? What do you think?
We could set the bar there and go from there.
Yeah, 63.
Yep.
Okay, and then since I went first last time, you get to choose whether you're going over or under 63.
I've seen a lot of good stuff from hoppers. I've seen uh based on the commercials, which are
Mhm.
kind of selling me, that is very family friendly. You don't need to
Yeah.
know a lot of information into it, and cute animals and Avatar premise. So I think this is a chance to do really, really good here, especially in a very, very slow month and release week. So I'm gonna go over here. I think 60 it can go over 63.
Okay, then I'll
I
take
don't
that
think the
under.
Pixar name is tarnished just yet.
Yes, yeah. Well, we'll see. 63 it was a shocking number, I think, for Scream. So can Pixar beat it is a good question. I don't know. I'm not confident, so I'm okay. I'm comfortable with this less position. So we'll see.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll find out that next week while I'm gone, actually. So it won't matter. Instead, we're going to talk about. So yeah, no points will be issued anyways. This is more just for bragging rights. But we will find
Oh no,
out.
points will be issued, but we won't have a new one next week.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we'll want a new one. Speaking of points and getting negative points for like, I don't know, moral things. It's fun to watch people get sucked into the AI machine and who has succumbed to it and who hasn't. This week, Ben Affleck is on the AI chopping block. He is getting into the AI business with Netflix, of all companies, with something called Interpositive. Old Ben says, quote, I knew I had a responsibility to my peers and our industry to protect the power of human creativity and the people behind it. In creating Interpositive, I sought to do just that. This is according to a post he wrote for Netflix on Thursday. The company captured a proprietary data set on a closed soundstage, eventually leading to the company's first AI model, which Affleck writes is, quote, trained to understand visual logic and editorial consistency while preserving cinematic rules under real world production challenges, such as missing shots, background replacements, or incorrect lighting. In non jargon, the focus is on filmmaking technique, not the performance of the actors. So this is not replacing actors like performances or voice voices or any of that. It is specifically about the technical aspects of filming.
Hmm.
The tool also allows directors or filmmakers to upload dailies to hone the model for specific projects. So, while yes, it's interesting that he's saying, don't worry, this isn't touching the creative process, I would argue, just as a layman's perspective here, somebody who has watched a lot of movies and never actually made a movie myself, I would argue that lighting, editing, that kind of technical work is still creative work. So I don't know how I feel about this. Now, you are somebody who has some experience doing this kind of thing.
Hmm.
Where do you land on this?
I land on the line. For those that don't know, you have
Yes,
the line,
the
which is
line.
the above the line, your actors, your director, your faces of the project. And
Yes.
below the line, your lighting, cinematography, production design. Everyone that you see in the credits that more or less doesn't get the recognition, except for those brief 30 seconds where they accept an award at the
Yeah.
Academy Awards.
Yes.
That's who's being affected here. Those people who
Yes.
have those creative eyes, those people who purposely set a creative tone on a set.
Hmm.
This is taking away those. This is correcting. He's setting it up as we're correcting the mistakes of those below the line guys
Uh-huh.
instead of being, hey, this is here to help you, where you just need to get the shot correct. And if the composition looks right, then we can help you fix, like, oh, maybe we can get rid of that. But then you get into the VFX artists who will be affected by this as well, where
Yeah.
they touch up shots afterwards, where they color correct afterwards, where they key light afterwards. So yeah, I think his head is in the right spot of I'm protecting the actors by getting ahead of this, but at the same time, alienating the other two-thirds of the people who work on this movie.
Yeah, I think this is tough. I think that, yeah, you're probably right about Ben coming in with, at least in good faith with this kind of concept, but showing his ignorance of the production process in as a result. Or
Which is
maybe not.
hilarious because this
Yeah,
is Ben Affleck, the director,
right.
wanting to make things easier for him as a director, and in turn, screw all the people who work for him as a director.
And I do think that it's a reminder of how actors and even some directors feel about below the line workers. Even the
Mhm.
term below the line, above the line feels kind of old and weird now.
Mhm.
It feels kind of classist in a way.
It
It feels like something of
definitely is. Yep.
a very old version of the movie business. And that's really changed. Modern movie making relies just as much, if not more, on the people with the technical eye for these things. And like I said, I would argue that these are creative positions just as much as the choices an actor make. Like you said, you have a creative point of view when you are editing a film. Period. You are making choices. And as long as you are making choices, there is a creative spark involved in that process. Even lighting people making choices, visual effects people are making choices. And all of that affects the emotion that a film evokes. That is a creative enterprise. So he might be thinking, oh, well, I'm not touching the creative process, but he absolutely is by introducing this. And sure, it's not trained on it's not generative AI in that classic way, but it's not that because it's basically taking stuff that they've already done in this project and iterating on it. But what if they don't want this thing to look super samey? What if I feel like anything that limits the creative enterprise is not the way we need to move forward with creative enterprises, right? Like it's reversing that human touch on these elements of creating a film.
Right. The idea behind it is I want to make this easier for young and new directors to get into the film industry. I want to make this easier on them putting their vision, which they might not be able to get out of their head correctly, onto the screen. But with this, they can help. But that's also part of the learning process of young directors is learning how to make those steps, learning to
Yeah.
rely on other people to help you make those choices, learning to be able to express yourself as a director to get the vision that's in your head out on screen. And that's
Mhm.
what separates everyone from film school directors to
Yeah.
documentary directors to big budget directors.
Yeah. I don't know. It's unfortunate to see Ben try to champion um to the creatives in his industry while forgetting about the creatives in his industry, I guess is
Right.
the way to put it. And yeah, it's a strong argument for doing away with this concept of this being two different worlds. A movie is a collaborative project between everybody who's on it. Even craft services. I mean, you want to make sure that your staff is happy and fed because that will affect the results of your film.
Right.
Like every person in this process is important. And I think that classic division of the line is an artifact of an older time and should probably never have been put in that way because it's collaborative no matter who you are. And AI in any of these segments of this creative process, it leads to a worse product. It's going to lead to a product that does not feel as original and as created by humans as the thing that was 100% created by humans.
I I don't know. I wonder how much of this is going to end up with like single-minded directors.
Yeah,
What I mean by that is
makes you think.
Honora, okay? Sean Baker had one director, one editing, one sound, one
Yeah,
script, one best
yeah,
picture, like the
yeah,
triple crown of the Academy Awards. He won everything. Now, what's to stop someone from coming in and saying, I want to do that? I want to
right,
be the number one on all of it because this is me working on it using AI tools. It leads to
right.
more of a me industry than a we industry.
And yeah, like that collaborative spark is what makes movies so unique. Well, and video games and television to a certain extent, but yes, like they are the project of a small village, and they
Mhm.
should remain that way. All right.
Yes. So more internegative than positive.
I guess so. At least the media boat podcast position is that for sure.
Yep.
All right. Our side movie story is a little update on award season. We need like an award season theme to go off here.
Yeah.
Um, because another award show happened this past weekend, which was the SAG Awards, formerly known as the SAG Awards, now known as the Actors. The Actors were
Eh.
given out in the Netflix aired ceremony this past weekend. And Sinners was your big winner. It won Outstanding Cast in a Motion Picture, the award that classically has determined Best Picture in the Oscars. I say classically because not recently. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
The Pit was your big television winner, winning Outstanding Ensemble in a Drama Series, and The Studio won Outstanding Ensemble in a Comedy Series following the TV voting in every
And
award
the
season for
yep.
the last year. Not super surprised there. We had a couple of interesting things happen in the acting categories as well that may also mean something going into the Oscars. I don't really need to talk about them now because we're not going to spend that much time. But yes, when you do your Oscar preview show, you can maybe mention next week some of the chess pieces that have moved as of the SAG ceremony.
Right. Like Michael B. Jordan winning male actor,
Yes, yes.
and Sean Penn winning supporting actor.
Yes. So if you are doing predictions like we are, keep those movements in mind because this is a wild season to keep track of. There's several categories that really could be coin flip categories. So keep an eye out for those.
Except for female actor leading role. Jessie
Right.
Buckley
Some of
apparently
them
just
are
has that on
locks.
lock.
Yes, some of them are locks, but not all of them.
Yes.
Speaking of which, by the way, Hamnet on Peacock as of today. So your homework is to watch Hamnet
I
as
watched
soon as
Captain already.
possible. Oh, well, yeah, but to watch it again.
I'll make my doctor watch it while
Yeah.
her eyes out.
Also, before you talk about the movie you've watched, which is, I presume, a 2026 movie, I'll
Yes.
talk about my very last Oscar catch-up 2025 film that we finally caught up on. We watched Sentimental Value, finally.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it, so that's why I didn't even write it down. Just like
Well, I'm
last
putting it
week, this
down.
is just for catch-up. not for the tally for 2026. I really liked it. I think it's a very emotional, personal film. I think that it's pace-wise like nothing else that is in the conversation for Best Picture this year. It is a very different kind of film, and I think that works in its favor. I do think that Stellan Skarsgård is as good as you think as people have been talking about in this film. I think he is a strong contender for supporting actor. Um, and yeah, the female performances are just as good. I think is very interesting and very European film. It is from Norway and acts like it. So I think it's going to be divisive, and it has been divisive in some ways. If you're not somebody who likes that kind of paced, emotional character study kind of approach, you might be a little bored. I was not bored. I was pretty much riveted in the emotional story of this family, this father, and the interesting approach it takes with a very familiar subject matter, which is family trauma. We talk a lot about how pretty much everything in the last 2 or 3 years has been about family trauma. This is as well, but takes such a unique perspective on it that it felt fresh, the way that it approached it. So I recommend it for people who think that's an interesting subject and want to really delve into these characters who are complicated and are dealing with these issues. If, however, that sounds like a snooze fest, don't be surprised if you don't like it. Christy was very lukewarm on it. She thought it was boring and was waiting for something to happen. So, for reference, I was really into it. I really liked it. It was very emotional. But yeah, your mileage may vary on sentimental value, is what I'll say.
All right. But yeah, that does mean that you've caught up on all the Oscar films,
I've watched every Best
except for
Picture
F1.
except for F1, and I'm not going to
You
watch
refuse to
F1.
watch F1.
It's not that I refuse. It's just that I'm not going to spend 2 hours and 30 minutes doing that when I could spend 2 hours and 30 minutes doing anything else.
Like Warframe.
Yeah, like Warframe, for example.
Okay. All right. Well then, might I interest you in a comedy then?
Ooh, maybe. What do you got?
I've got a British comedy called Fackham Hall.
I'm sorry. What are you doing to that hole?
It is called Fackham Hall.
Wow, I don't think you should do that to all of them.
I mean, I think you could. Maybe you should.
I don't
It
know.
is currently out, the new release over on HBO Max as of today. It is a
Mhm.
really quick hour 40 film, and it is a murder mystery over at Fackham Hall, where the murder is not so much like on full display here, but rather it's more of a comedy of errors. As
Hmm.
this is a hilarious film. Is if you like Airplane, if you like Naked Gun, the recent one that just came out,
Mhm, mhm,
if you
mhm.
like Top Secret, this film is for you. If you want to laugh at both visual and word gags, this
Mhm.
film is for you. It is funny from top to bottom. There's a lot of both tongue-in-cheek references to other murder mysteries, as well as just casual dialogue being thrown in there. It's funny. It's a joy to watch. I had a fun time watching this. I kind of want you to watch this. I think you'll have a fun time watching
Hmm.
this as well.
Maybe so.
It is very, very British though, because it takes inspiration and the 1930s British aristocratic scene. So think Downton Abbey and Bridgerton, and it has that vibe of both like front of house and back of house, but in a very, very like seriously funny film. If you both your classic slap gags, your comedic gags, your oh, I shot you, oh, but you missed gags, as well as your funny dialogue gags as well, where the preacher will stop mid-sentence randomly, only to pick up in what he actually meant in both hilarious and funny fashions.
That's fun.
I love when scripts play with both the actual dialogue, but also sprinkle it just enough to keep you interested in what's happening on screen in the background, as well as the characters' names. It's
Yeah,
fun. It's a fun gag, and
that's
it's just
fun.
funny all around. Technically, this is a 2025 release over on BBC, but because we didn't get it, it's a 2026 release for the US.
Oh, I got it.
But yeah, that's funny. It's called Fackham Hall, and they play into calling it like that, Fackham
Oh,
Hall.
it's got to be on purpose. Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
it's definitely on purpose.
Yeah.
Uh, the jokes are funny. Just real quick off the bat, one of the opening jokes is that there's an ink shortage, so the papers themselves are almost blank. Like there's a little bit of ink and it just goes blank. You have people reading them. And it's a recurring joke throughout the entire movie, which is hilarious. So lots of
That's good.
gags like that where it's like, oh, that's a fun visual gag. But then they keep playing into it, which is hilarious as well.
Was
So
this
yeah,
on?
this is on HBO Max. Like I said, it's a quick hour 40. It's fun. It's hilarious. If you know British personalities, British comedians, you'll have a fun time going like, oh, that's that person. Oh, it's that person. But if you don't, most of you will probably be more familiar with Damian Lewis, who was the star of Homeland, not Homelander,
Yeah,
Homeland
different.
on US, and then Tom Felton, the not so star of the Harry Potter series.
Yes.
Also, if
Okay.
you are into British comedy, Jimmy Carr is there in hilarious fashion, as always.
Okay.
Yeah, that is Fackham Hall.
Yeah,
If you're trying to
Hall,
find it.
Hall. Yes, to be clear.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And
Maybe
go
I'll
watch
check
it
it out.
and fuck them all.
Perhaps I will. Who knows?
Uh,
All right, cool. Anything else in movies?
no, I actually almost saw Hoppers last night, but
Oh,
I might see it this weekend, and I'll talk about that next
all
week
right.
if I do.
All right, fair enough. All right, cool. Then that'll do it for the movie section, and that'll do it for this week's edition of the Media Boat Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to see us in video form, you can go to our YouTube channel. Just search Media Boat Podcast to find us. And like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications for when videos go live. You can also listen to the audio version of our podcast by searching Media Boat on any podcast service of your choice. You can also find us on the internet. We're on Blue Sky. Just search Media Boat to find our profile there. We are maybe even on more in the future. Christy mentioned something about like maybe wanting to do some social media for us. I said, like, I don't know. She's like, do you guys have an Instagram? I'm like, no, we
No.
don't. So I don't know. We'll see. And then if you want to email us questions, comments, feedback about the show, we will read those emails here. So please do that. Email us at mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com. All right. I will be out this coming week. It will just be Mike doing a solo show,
Yep.
but we'll be back following that, both to talk about the Oscars. So get ready.
Yep. So
Um,
next week you get all of me and all of my correct Oscar predictions.
And the following week, we get to rub it in how wrong Mike was on those big swings, just like we do every year.
As the bell tolls. All right, we'll be back, or at least I'll be back next week with more news, more thoughts, and more of me.
All right. See
All
you
right,
then.
bye.
Bye.